Alright guys, sorry about that. Yeah, welcome back to the channel. So in this video, I'm just going to go over kind of yesterday's big move down and how I managed to miss it and why I missed it and what my bias was, because I got my bias wrong. Okay, so let's get into it. I guess, yeah, there's a lot to talk about and show you, but we'll go over to the 4 hour. So on the 4 hour, yeah, let's see what we can see here. So we have obviously prices trading into this 4 hour SIBI right here. Plus we also have a 12 hour, if I'm not mistaken. We have a 12 hour here and a daily. So we have this entire, like this big range here, this big imbalance. Price is slowly trying to, trade through it. But you can see we had a nice reaction back down. So on the 4 hour, we still haven't really displaced through the gap. And yeah, since we swept the previous week high up here, we also have bearish SMT, as ES did not. And we also have SMT with the all-time highs. So yeah, because NQ is lacking real hard behind there. So we have two bearish SMTs right here, and then price trades right through this gap with no problems. Look, not even one bullish candle up, nothing. It just trades right through it. And then we got a change in state of delivery. Okay, so that was all within Wednesday. Wednesday did this whole move, and then yesterday, Thursday, we got this move down. Okay, so coming into the day, I didn't really I wasn't super sure that we were very bearish. Like I knew we were bearish, but I didn't know we were that bearish. And obviously the signs are clear here. We even had this volume imbalance at the start of the day. This usually indicates when price is in a hurry to, or it's just super bearish. You can see price created a volume imbalance here, and it's just boom. We didn't even trade back into it to fill the gap on the lower time frame. I'll show you. We just kept going lower. See, here's another volume imbalance, and we just pushed higher. So that was a clear sign that kind of price was looking to go lower. But I was obviously bearish bias overall, but internally, intraday, I was kind of bullish to then go lower later. So actually on the 1 hour, we can see that price fell into this 1 hour gap. Okay, price is in this 1 hour gap, and look at the reaction we had off of it. Price respected it completely, and we pushed higher from it. We inversed this gap, this 1 hour gap, and we inversed this 1 hour gap. Then we tapped into this 1 hour gap and this one here in discount of this range. If I had noticed that, I would have maybe switched my bias, but I only saw this later on. But you see on the 15 minute, I'll try and make it as clean as possible. It's not too bad to look at. But here we can see this is when the day opened up. Price just left this volume imbalance in the form of a new day opening gap. And this is the 1800 level, no manipulation above it, okay? And then price went lower for midnight, no manipulation above it. So at this point, I'm thinking price is just one of those London protraction profile where we form a low between 2 and 5, which we did right here. 4:30 formed the low in this 1 hour gap, and in a 1 hour gap, what you're looking for? You're looking for a 5 minute change in state of delivery. So a 5 minute change in state of delivery, but we got a 15. We got a 15. See, this is the series of down close candles that formed the lowest low here. And you can see we traded above it and we closed above it. So that's our change in state of delivery on the 15 minute. Now, that's why I was bullish. So now I'm thinking, well, what do we have here? We have the midnight untapped, no manipulation above it. And we have this swing high here, and we have 1800, the day open, no gap, and this volume imbalance. So you can see why I was kind of bullish coming into the day. See, we started to inverse these gaps up here too. And yeah, it just looked very bullish to me. But on the higher time frame, you need to add more weight to that because obviously that's where price is moving long term. So you can see here on the 5 minute what price did. We formed these kind of relative equal lows here. Oh, and also guys, we also had, I didn't mark it out, on the 1 hour, we had ES already had taken the previous week high at New York here. So look at the difference here. We had SMT here, and they also obviously taken that this low here, but we haven't. So we have SMT here and obviously here. So we have big SMT here. So that just added more confidence to that we're going long. We had SMT, low created in London, change in state of delivery, unmanipulated levels up here. So I thought we were bullish. And then I'll show you deeper what kind of profile I was looking at. So before I show you what actually happened, let's have a look at the profiles, the daily profiles that I was looking at and what I was expecting. Okay, so what I was kind of expecting in price was actually this day. Let's go. It was I'm looking for a London protraction profile. You see, price traded into this 1 hour gap at 2 to 5. This is our time low. We're looking for a low created in London, 2 to 5, in a gap, which is our IRL with SMT. So we have SMT with ES because they swept previous week low. We didn't. Then we start to trade up. We had that change in stage delivery. And then in this market maker buy model, we have our accumulation stage right here. We have a short-term retracement between 7 to 10 with SMT into a gap, and then we trade higher. What happened? I'll go into the actual charts in a second, but our 7 to 10, what can you expect normally? Looking at the economic calendar, when price is going to form this? Well, we can expect it to be 8:30 in this case, because yesterday we had 8:30 red folder news. So what does that mean? 8:30 will manipulate lower internally, create SMT in a gap, and then push them higher. So you can see that, let's actually push this here because that's more accurate. So you can see that price formed the low at 8:30 in a gap, and we had SMT. So again, at 8:30, I was bullish, as you can see. So then price came in, and the midnight 8:30, what I failed to actually realize was this profile here. But you see, I didn't even bat an eye to this. I was so clearly bullish. But the higher time frame was bearish. So I guess that's what I learned a lesson in. You have to kind of obviously look at the higher time frames and really base your trade off that, because internally, yeah, we looked bullish, but overall we're super bearish. So you can see this is what I wanted to happen. 8:30 creates a low, start trading higher, taking out this buy side level, which was a little swing high, and then we had no manipulation above midnight and day open. So I was looking for price to we formed the low here internally, trade higher, and then 10 to 12 put in a high for the New York profile, okay? The New York session. So that's what I was looking at, because at these prices there was no manipulation. So this could have been manipulation, midnight, boom, and we start straight high. So open, low, high, close. So that's what I was looking at, a London protraction profile. And then, yeah, obviously to trade into a 1 hour sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency up here, into them, and then trade lower, obviously tomorrow or the coming weeks, because obviously with all coming days we look kind of bearish. So maybe next week we trade back lower, but I wanted this to play out in the Thursday price action. So this is kind of what actually happened. So you can see here at 2 to 5, we have London lows, which is our original consolidation. And it's just, engineering sell side targets so that we can take out later. But we formed this low here, price went up, and 7 to 10 put in the high. So you can see we're looking for this New York reversal profile, which if you see in hindsight, it kind of makes sense. But here we have a sweep of liquidity here. So price tapped into a 15-minute SIBI right here. We formed a swing high. Price came above it. 7 to 10, which was the 8:30 news. 8:30 news came in, put in a high. And then we had the SMT. ES was a lot lower in the range, obviously. And we had swept this liquidity up here. Okay, so now we're in a gap, IRL. Swept liquidity, we have SMT. We got our timed high at 8:30. So in between 7 to 10. We had a change of state delivery lower. Okay. And then obviously it gave us an entry, and 9:30, which are we most likely going to see 9:30 manipulate above and sweep already our timed high at 8:30? Most likely not, okay? It could happen, but we already formed our manipulation. Now 9:30 is a volatile time in the market, so we can expect 9:30 to just shoot lower and run to our drawn liquidities, okay? So this is what actually played out. You can see this is what played out here. We had this come all the way lower to previous week low, but this is my bias for the day coming into New York. So you can see I got my bias wrong, but in both sides I did see a bullish argument and I see a bearish argument as well. Higher time frame is very bearish. So now that we have our profiles out of the way, we can go over to the 5-minute, and you can see here kind of more clearer. So this is that little 15-minute swing high. As you can see, we had on the 15-minute. Let's go here. We tapped in. We formed this 15-minute SIBI. Price taps into it, and we push lower. So now on the 5-minute, this creates a little bit of a swing high. Price comes, sweeps it, and then we had SMT. And then what's the high that created this? So 8:30 news obviously created the high, but we pushed higher and we closed below this last up close candle, which forms our change state of Leary. Now look at this. Price goes in, goes high, comes back out. Okay. Now look how price is respecting this level. Price is respecting this 5-minute change state of Leary very nicely, and then obviously push lower. So let's go on to the 1 minute. You can see also price left those relative equal lows down here as inducement. So you can see this is getting a lot of people bullish, getting a lot of buyers in the market to then sweep all their stops down here. Okay, so you can see this was just inducing buyers pretty much. So you can see the swing high got taken, SMT. 8:30 was our timed high. So we're looking for a high in this reversal between 7 to 10. And most likely we'll get it at 8:30 because we had the 8:30 news driver. Then we created this low resistance liquidity. So this is why, again, I don't think I would short this, even I'm given the clear sign, because I would maybe prefer 9:30 to open. This is 9:30 here. I would have preferred 9:30 to quickly gone up, swept something here, all this resistance, and then gone lower, obviously. But yeah, we just were super bearish and we just wanted to reach our target really quickly. So you can see on the 1 minute, this is our 5-minute change state delivery. So we go higher and we close below it. And here, we're respecting this gap here still. And then we created gaps in here. The price came into there, had a reaction off it, came high. We internally swept this here, which if you're bearish, you should never worry about getting new highs getting created, because that is just a sweeping liquidity. And then price came lower, created this gap. We traded into it, respected it, and then pushed lower again. Created another gap, came into it, respected it again. So you can see price was respecting bearish Peter race. So I went long somewhere here at 8:30, created this low. So you can see we created a sweep liquidity right here. Okay, so this is where I went long. You can see 8:30 manipulated lower. We swept all this resistance down here, this low resistance, and we had a liquidity sweep, SMT. Now, does that not look like this? You can see here price falls into a gap, create SMT. This is our little short-term retracement between 7 to 10, and then trade higher. So this is why I went long here, because 8:30 manipulated lower, and we got a nice pullback into a gap. So you can see we had a 15-minute gap right here. Let's see here, right here, 15-minute gap. 8:30 pulls into that, into this order block as well, and this gap, and then we close higher. Okay, we actually inverse this. Look like we inverse this 15-minute gap, and we manipulated lower and closed above it again. So I'm bullish at this point. So let's go back here. You can see, oops. So I go long right once we got, where is it? I think I just went long here. The price dropped in and then started to show more momentum. So I just got in here because, you know, the entry doesn't really matter to me so much, because as long as I know we created this timed low right here at 8:30, we had SMT liquidity sweep, I was bullish from there on. So you can see price, actually I did have a partial here as well at the data highs. Price never came in to tap it, but this could have been a valid trade, obviously. It was starting out great, and then we started creating BISIs as well. And then once we inverse that, I was kind of worried there. And then I put my stop was originally somewhere like at this low, I think, here, for like a 2-hour trade. But once we invest that gap, I just put it here. Took a small loss, and then price, took me out. And I never flipped bias. I was still long. So yeah, anyway, it was clear signs that we were respecting the bearish PD raise. And then we just dumped lower. So we can see here's a great entry. But normally I like to take my entries within the 950 macro. But because price already did its manipulation and 930 is just an accelerator into your drawn liquidity, I would have entered here. Obviously, on hindsight, I would enter before 930, because 930 is going to obviously push lower with extreme volatility. So an entry here would have been good. And then, short stop loss. Entries here would have been good. Price came lower, swept the sell side here, and then we came lower into the London lows. We came lower into these London lows, okay? So we took out the 2 to 5 low here. And then, we starting to disrespect, obviously now this 1 hour gap, start to go lower. We also had this little low here. Price came in, swept that, and then we pushed on lower and lower and lower, all the way into previous week low. But I'll show you another on the 1 minute. We had another macro entry. So you can see here, look what price does. It's literally like rinse and repeat. The market just does this over and over again. You can see 930 puts in a low, 933 put in a low. Price comes in, we tap into this 1 minute gap. That could have been another entry, but yeah, that's another entry. And then we tap into this other 1 minute gap here, and we go lower again. And then this is the macro entry. So this is when I started to try catch the reverse back up. I was still bullish. I thought this was a reversal because 930 also, if you think about it this way, this could have been a New York manipulation continuation. So you can see this is the 2 to 5 low at 430. Price can come in 930, take in the low, and then push back up, and then be bullish for the rest of the day, and just 930 comes and manipulates lower. So I thought that was it. 933 puts in a low, and then I'd start to trade the reversal off of that, sweeping the sell side, because we still had bullish SMT with the previous week low was swept. So at this point, I would try to play the reversal. We got into this gap, and once I saw this reaction, I was like, nope. So I got stopped out at break even there. And then now, once I saw this, where we start to create a new low, looking for a new low at 10, that's when I said, no, we're going to be very bearish today. So then what was in play was obviously this profile where we put the 830 high. Price came in, 930, put in a low. And then I'm looking at 10. Actually, 930 was all the way down here. We swept London lows. 930 came in here, and I'm looking for 10 to put in another low. 10 to 12 put in a low here. So you can see here 10 put in the low. But here was our 950 macro entry. You can see we created this 1 minute gap here. Price traded into it, and that could have been an entry. But this is kind of how price, you would have, if you had entered somewhere like here. I didn't want to enter in here because look at the risk. Where's your stop loss going to be? There's a gap here, there's a gap here, there's another gap here, there's another gap here, there's these little highs up here. So what, you put your stop loss up here, and then you target previous week low with a 1-to-1. So that's obviously why I did not enter this. But because price was very, very bearish, we could just take a riskier entry into the first gap here, and then see what happens, and then a small stop loss like up here. And then if it trades higher, you take the loss and then get another entry higher in the range, okay? But here, this could have been, if you did take this, fair play. So you could have taken this macro entry right here, stops at this high here, and then targeting previous week low. But you probably would have got stopped out here. So you can see when price started to trade lower, depending on how you trade your stop loss, but we created a 10 low here, and we traded lower. Then this creates a fake low. This is 10-12. This is not a time low. We're looking for a low at 10, 10-30, 11. So at 10-12, I knew this was just a short-term low. We're going to come back into it at 10-30 or possibly 11. So you can see price came up, swept this high up here. Okay, so if you moved your stop loss up here, you would have got stopped at break even. Or if you left it, it would still be in the trade. But yeah, we got a liquidity sweep right there. If you can see it, liquidity sweep. And we had SMT. So this is actually where I entered. I was down here. At this point, I was down about $600 in trying to trade up the range, try to trade long. So I was down about $600. And then here, when I saw this liquidity sweep SMT in this gap, we started to trade a bit lower. That's when I entered. I entered right here, and then my stop was just above this high, and then I traded into this short-term low. So you can see here, price came into it, and I made back some of my money, some of the losses. But yeah, we inversed this gap, created another gap, and then we traded 1030, put in the low, and then here we came in 1039, swept this low, and then here swept previous week low down here, and then 11. Look at this, 1106 puts in a low here. So it was actually a very clean price action. I won't lie. It was very, very clean. I did miss so much money in this trade because of my bullish buys. And I'm sure a lot of you guys also had bullish buys as well. So if that resonates with you, then yeah, we're in the same boat really. But I can show you here. Let me show you my journal. So you can see here when I took this loss, you can see here before I was trading what I was expecting. What was I expecting? Look, price after sweeping previous week high at the top here, we swept previous week high, the ERL, we dropped into this 1 hour gap, which is IRL in discount. So I'm looking at the ERL to IRL move. So I was like, okay, cool. Now we're looking from IRL to ERL. Maybe these targets up here. So that's why I was bullish. Okay. And then we also dropped into time of day. But also there's a sell side target right here that we didn't really sweep into. So that's also something that I should really look at next time. But yeah, we created this change state delivery. 8:30 came in, boom, sweeps lows. That's what I was expecting. And we had just a New York. I was expecting a New York manipulation, and an expansion, because there was no manipulation above these levels. So that's why I was bullish, as you know. So I put in my explanation there, and then in the trades you can see here a bit clearer. So we've been on the daily 4 hour, 1 hour. So you can see here on the 1 minute. Let's have a look here. So you can see London lows here. We formed our OG consolidation. We accumulated here. And then we formed our SMR at the top here, which is, if you're seeing this on hindsight, this is very clear. You can see we swept this buy side target up here. So we have liquidity sweep right there. We have our SMT in this 15-minute gap. We have our change of state delivery lower and our entries. And then we could have targeted here. And this would net you a massive trade. Okay, so this completes the market making buy model right here. So I did miss on that. And yeah, guys, that was about it. I'm a bit disappointed that I didn't catch this move, but yeah, it is what it is. I mean, I've learned a lot of lessons, and I hope you guys have learned a thing or two as well. But you can see, yeah, just on multiple time frames, we are just completing these market maker buy or sell models. You can see consolidation here, accumulation, SMR with the previous week high. We traded lower all the way into obviously the sell side target, which is the first target, and then in IRL in discount of this range, we trade into this 1 hour gap, and then we furthermore just trade into previous week low. It should be low here. So in multiple time frames, we were very bearish. So the fact I was very bullish was a bit of an L from me. But hey, I learned. And yeah, guys, if you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like. And I'll catch you guys in another one.